Trying Not to Think About It is a time capsule of my deep depression that I was in at the end of last year. And I found that in opening up and talking to people that are close to me, that I was so not alone in that feeling. I found that in writing through it, I was able to get some of my confidence back. I've shed those feelings for now, but it doesn't mean that this experience isn't cyclical. Like, I found that it comes back. I've personified my depression and I call her Berlinda. And like, Berlinda's gonna try to take the driver's seat again, and I'm gonna have to be like, bitch, stay in the back seat. I don't need you. I've got this under control. I'm not here to say that I've arrived and that now that I've written it, everything's cool. But it is really great to have this body of work that feels like a weighted blanket on me, that felt like, comforting. Hey MTV News, this is JoJo, and these are my top 5 musical influences. My first musical influence is probably the person who made the greatest impact on me when I was a little girl because of her voice, because of her conviction, her passion, her talent, her songwriting, Aretha Franklin. I don't even remember the first time I heard her voice, but I remember being so in awe of the power, the grace, the fluidity, the truth that I felt. And I listened to a biography of hers and learned so much about what it was that went into the pain and the storytelling that we could, hear in her music. My next musical influence is MC, Mariah Carey. She is so brilliant. Like, not only one of the most phenomenal singers, from her range to her flexibility, just chops in general, but songwriting, woo! This woman gave us new vocabulary words that we didn't, that she just expanded my mind as a child. Her visuals, like I think of the Honey video where she's like taking off her little swim thing and then diving in and getting on a jet ski, and she just looks so happy and free. And the way that she combined R&B and pop with hip hop and really brought some acts that were more underground at a certain time to a very big mainstream place. I just think that's so dope. She really is the blueprint for so many artists today, and I'm just forever inspired by her. And also her resilience, how people counted her out. We're like, it's over for you. And then she came back with the Emancipation of Mimi. And like, you can never count anybody out, particularly anybody as talented as that. So I love the story. Her energy is amazing. I'm so grateful that she exists. My third musical influence that I'm gonna highlight is Solange. And I'm bringing her up because think about being Beyonce's sister. think about that for a second. And then to be as much of an individual and as ill and as artist-driven and as transformative as she is, and the intersectionality of art and history and music and different genres, and the fact that she's been a mother through this whole thing, a young mother, and brought so many different really cool musicians into the fold to create a sound that is all her own and that really set a tone and like changed things. I just have so much respect and admiration for her. I just love how uncompromising she is with her art. And I think that to set yourself apart from a family member who of course you love, you respect, you look up to, but she has carved her own path. And it's so important, and I stand. My fourth musical influence is DAngelo. DAngelo's Voodoo is probably my most listened to album of all time, and I love the musicality and the immersive experience that it is. I mean, I've been listening to this album since I was a young teenager, and I remember like a boyfriend I was dating at the time being like, "What are you listening to?" And I was like, "Oh my God, you don't get this?" And I had to break up with him. Like, it just wasn't gonna work out. Because that's how meaningful this music is to me. To read the lyrics, to understand the context and all the thought and heart that he put into this project is just so inspiring. But from Brown Sugar to Black Messiah, all his offerings have been extraordinary in my opinion. Every time I listen to his music, I get something new from it, and that's really a big feat. The last musical influence I'm gonna highlight is Yebba. And I want to bring her up because I just think, I'm just so grateful that she exists and that she is putting out music that we can try to be inspired by and that I think pushes all of us as artists forward. She is such an amazing synthesis of inspirations, and as a vocalist, I'm so taken by her freedom, by the freedom that I hear in her voice and the playfulness and the fact that at a live show, I've never heard her do the same thing twice. And that just speaks to the fact that she's a channel of inspiration and creativity. And I think her songwriting is so beautiful. The combination of like folk and soul and jazz and blues, you know, you can hear the Memphis all through her. And then you can also hear some like Appalachia and some influence that is maybe otherworldly. It's quite extraordinary, and I'm so grateful that an artist like her exists right now.